Mary Anning's Curiosity, Chapter 8, The Fossil Shop. It was 2 weeks since Joe's discovery. Ma was busy with a customer when Mary and Joe burst through the door. The day after Mary brought home the half-crown and Joe stumbled on the eye, Ma had the idea to turn the front sitting room into a shop. "If you are set on following your father's steps, we'd best do it right," she said. "Shall we call it the Fossil Shop?" Pa's tools were brought up from the cellar. No more standing in floodwater to clean curiosities. Display shelves and a counter were built. Mary was even able to carve a wooden sign, which now hung outside. Since that day, Mary had worked in all types of weather, hour after hour, all the while keeping a lookout for the captain. Today, Joe had come down to see how Mary was getting on. The weather was raw, and a harsh wind had buffeted them all the way home. Now they stood in the shop with roses in their cheeks and excitement in their eyes. "The eye is amazing, Ma," said Mary. "It's only the skull, though," said Joe. "The body of the beast is somewhere higher up," said Mary. "I'm sure of it." The customer, who'd had her back to the door, turned. "What beast is this?" she asked with a smile. Mary hadn't seen the woman standing in the corner of the room, and now she'd spilled the secret. Relief washed over her when she saw it was Miss Philpott. "Joe found this dragon." Mary's words tumbled out excitedly. "It's buried in church cliffs. I've been working on the skull for days, but it's a powerful amount of work. The hardest bit will be getting the beast out of the cliff. We don't know how we'll do it," Joe picked up the story, "and we fear the Curryman will grab the dragon from us. He's been sniffing around. It won't be long before he twigs." "What dragon is this exactly?" asked Miss Philpott. She was still rather new to Lyme, and as yet didn't know all the town's secrets. "It's the Lyme Regis dragon, ma'am," replied Joe. "Only it's not really a dragon, probably more like a giant crocodile. Folks have been talking about it for years. I found its eye, and it's enormous." "I'd like to help you if I may," offered Miss Philpott, catching the excitement. "It sounds like a real scientific discovery." The keen sparkle of interest in Miss Philpott's eyes reminded Mary of Pa when he talked about how old the curiosities were, what they might be, and why they were buried in the coastal cliffs. Could Miss Philpott be trusted not to take the discovery away from them? Ma must have been wondering the same thing, for she replied, "That is a kind offer, Miss Philpott, but I'm sure we'll find a way." Mary caught Elizabeth Philpott's look of disappointment, followed quickly by embarrassment. "Of course, I didn't mean to," Elizabeth sputtered. Mary jumped in. "We'd love your help, Miss Philpott." "We would?" asked the surprised Joe. "Yes, we would, Joe," Mary assured him. "Miss Philpott is our friend. She'd never cheat us out of our curiosity." "It's settled, then," said Miss Philpott, beaming. "Together we'll find a way to bring the creature to the fossil shop." It was early dawn, and the night stars still faintly glimmered. The howling winds and lashing rain that had plagued the seaside town for days had finally ended. Mary hadn't been able to go on beach because of the storm, but today she was going to see if the waves had done their work and uncovered more of the great beast. Joe started work at Mr. Hale's first thing in the morning, so he could not come along. Mary quickly ate a bacon sandwich and grabbed a rucksack, collecting a hunk of bread for later. The Guncliffe houses stood black against the sea and sky. In dawn's dimness, the cliffs loomed menacingly as Mary tramped across the beach. The sea's surf rolled in beside her. The cresting and splashing of its waves were music to her ears. Overhead, hungry gulls squawked raucously. "I'm not giving you my bread," yelled Mary playfully. Out of habit, Mary searched the ground as she walked, losing herself in it. She tried to imagine the ancient sea that had once covered the land on which she walked, and all the creatures great and small, from tiny fish to ammonites to swimming great beasts, that had teemed in it, but it was like trying to imagine how deep the sky was and how many stars it contained. Mary had almost reached Church Cliffs when she spotted Captain Curie hobbling down the footpath. Not again! She walked past the cliffs and headed farther east toward the Black Bend, where Pa had fallen all those years ago. Mary stood before the dark, massive cliff face as Captain Curie lumbered over, using his spade to steady himself. She had seen a line in the shale and had started chipping. As she blew away rock dust, Mary saw what looked like a cluster of thunderbolts. What luck! She could keep herself busy and not let the Curryman get under her skin. Mary worked slowly and carefully, blowing away chips and dust to reveal more of the stone shapes that lay in the rock. "Well, well, Miss Mary," said Captain Curie, a bit out of breath. He watched Mary at work for several minutes and then said, "Is this the find you and Joe are keeping dark about? Looks like nothing more than thunderbolts. Hardly worth the effort, it seems, being only Belamites. I find myself wondering, though, why you and your brother scurry so whenever I appear. Could it be my winning personality? There's more here than meets the eye, muttered Mary without looking up. So you say, but I don't believe it. There's nothing more than a thunderbolt cluster in those rocks. You and I know it. I'm off to the ledges near Carmouth, where I hear there's been a landslip. I aim to find that crock, or my name's not Curryman. With those words, Captain Curie shambled off, picking his way eastward. Mary waited until he was far down the beach before walking back to the eye. Now Mary had time to give to the work without the worry of the captain showing up. Mary worked tirelessly, removing the surrounding shale. She placed her hammer at shallow angles, and flakes and small chunks of stone fell away. She must not crack the bones. It would be horrible to damage this magnificent creature. The saucer eye grew larger. Its fierce look made Mary wonder if it had died wide-eyed. She shuddered at the thought. Was it possible that a creature like this had once roamed the seas? And how long ago was that? 1,000 years? Millions of years? Elizabeth Philpott had told Mary that some of the world's geologists believed the earth had gone through many different ages and was millions and millions of years old. That certainly wasn't what church folk were taught. It boggles the brain, Mary had said with a mixture of fear and wonder when Elizabeth Philpott told her. The knowledge gave Mary even greater admiration for the creature that had once swum freely and was now being uncovered by a fossil hunter's hammer.